as most of you are probably aware, the world is in kind of a chaotic state right now, and especially the United States, because of the brutal murdering of George Floyd. So, in solidarity with Black Lives Matter and in the hope for justice for George Floyd,
Black Lives Matter.
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 We all stand together.
The RPG After Years is part of the We Can Make This Work Probably Network. Find out more at probablywork.com.
Are you a fan of high fantasy epic book series that are converted into television series? No, not that one. I mean an epic book series that is actually complete. I'm referring to The Wheel of Time, Robert Jordan's fantasy masterpiece that was completed posthumously by Brandon Sanderson. Well, I have the perfect podcast for you. The Taviren is a Wheel of Time podcast where three gentlemen go through the series one chapter at a time, in their own special way. Follow along as Bill, Rob, and Rich re-experience this great epic. Experience for yourself a world full of vibrant locations, colorful characters, and storylines that will never fail to surprise. Visit a world that Game of Thrones can only wish was as fleshed out and complete. The Taviren, a Wheel of Time podcast, is part of the We Can Make This Work Probably network of podcasts. Find our podcast wherever you get your podcast feed, or visit probablywork.com for episodes of this podcast and other great shows. We will see you at the Wine Spring Inn.
Check, check. My body hurts.
Welcome to the RPG After Years, your weekly show covering all things RPGs, past, present, and future. I'm Scott.
I'm Rich.
And I'm Jay.
This is episode 20. Today we are going to be making some embarrassing confessions to all of you. The topic is our RPG shames. We're going to be admitting some very personal things about what we have or haven't done in our RPG lives that we're a bit ashamed of. We're getting personal and deep today. But before all that, let's catch up, fellas. Jay, what have you been up to?
Hey, guys. So before I start this, I have a quick question for you, Scott.
Okay.
And I'm going to potentially call you out.
Uh-oh.
Do you have a soundbite of the shame lady from Game of Thrones ready for this?
Oh, I actually thought about that, but I forgot to do it.
That'd be so good.
Maybe I'll work on that while you go over your thing.
So this past week, nothing too exciting. Work is still somewhat kind of interesting. I'm having to complete things last minute or really quickly because we have some proof of concept work because we have some stuff that we need to do, but aren't quite sure how to do it yet, which is never fun. But outside of that, I played a little bit of Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Nice.
And a little bit of the newest Pokemon Mystery Dungeon for the Switch.
Oh, okay.
It was just the demo, so I haven't actually bought it yet. But I played it with Gracie, and she was really into it. So we got the DS one for her. But apparently that one's too hard because she quit really quickly. So I might get the one for the Switch. I did.
What did you think about it?
It's fun. I think it's an improvement of what existed on the Game Boy, obviously, and the art style is really cool. So I will probably buy it at some point. But it is totally just a dungeon crawler. So
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. But I enjoyed the Game Boy one way back when I was not even a teenager yet. So I imagine I will bathe in nostalgia on it.
Nice.
Outside of that, I did not start Final Fantasy V, but I was going to this morning, but I accidentally bought 6 instead of 5.
How did you pull that off?
So I just searched Final Fantasy V in the App Store and just assumed that the first result was going to be what I wanted. And so I just bought the first result without
actually know your Roman numerals.
I do, but I wasn't paying attention.
Gotcha. Womp womp.
So I bought it, and then it started downloading, and then I looked at it for a second, like, wait a second, this is a scene. This screenshot is from Final Fantasy VI. What did I just do?
Nice.
So I have to now go get 5, probably in a way that's not going to cost me money.
This is what I think about that, Jay.
Shame.
There we go. Oh man, I have an early start. But yeah, that's about it for me. Doing lots of non-video game related stuff right now because it's that time of the winter's over.
Something this week.
Yeah, at least I played something, and I plan on playing more things at some point. But I already have a review that's waiting to go. That just needs somebody else to play Tales of Bursaria. But I
don't know who you're talking about.
That's neither here nor there. Oh, hey, Rich. What have you been up to?
Oh, hey. I'm awake. I'm waking up slowly. Okay, so I have just mainly been playing Final Fantasy XIV.
Nice. Still in the base game, I guess.
I'm still in the base game. There's I looked it up because I was like, good God, how many quests are in this entire game? There are 3,654, I think, if I'm right.
Whoa.
Of main
required
story quests for everything. For everything.
How does anyone ever beat it? No life?
I don't think you beat it. I think you just become it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. So we've been doing stuff. My brother have been playing it, and I don't mind it. It's very fetch quest heavy. But what I've heard though is that the base game is just so freaking boring. Now, I guess the new patch that's coming up is supposed to bypass all that.
Yeah, if I was going to play 14, I would wait till after that patch based on everything I've heard.
I have I've heard that what's the most recent
Shadowbringers.
I've heard that one is really good.
Yeah. That got universal acclaim from what I gathered.
Yeah. Well, I heard Shadowbringers and Stormblood was really good too, and so was Heaven's Word was all right, I heard, but I haven't got there.
I guess they're just getting better as they go along.
Yeah, I don't.
You just got to get there.
It's just so much grinding.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
And that's all you played this week?
That's all I've. Well, okay, and then I played a little bit of BioShock on the Switch.
I was about to say, yeah, I saw you playing BioShock last night.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Yeah. What are you supposed to be playing right now, Rich?
I don't really know.
Well, I'm pretty sure Bursaria is supposed to be your top priority. But...
I'm just not going to give Jay that power.
Yeah.
I need to do it. I need to.
Yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and go. I think that we played Animal Crossing 1 or 2 days this week. I think I'm officially giving up on it. I don't care anymore. I came, I saw, I did what I need to do. Have a great island.
Conquered.
Yeah.
Yada yada.
Hundreds of hours later. Not that many. And then still doing Ring Fit Adventure. Beat World 17 yesterday. So getting kind of close to the end there. We played Final Fantasy X some more with Lauren this week. She beat Unalesca. And so we're basically at the point of the game where you can either do side quests or continue the story.
How she have a hard time?
The boss right before that, actually, the Spectral Keeper was harder for her. not to say that Unaleska was easy, but like she was gonna win. Here's the story I wanted to tell about that. You guys know the Aeon Yojimbo and how it has that final attack that kills anything in the game. It's called a Zenmato.
Don't you have to pay for that?
Yeah, it's like there's a really complex, weird formula that determines what move he uses. It's based on like its motivation and what amount you pay him and all that. And it would take more time than I would care to explain to even begin to cover it. But she has summoned it twice in the game. Once against the third Seymour fight and once against Unaleska. And both times, the first time she paid him for a move, it used Zenmato. And she only paid it like 2,600 gil or something like that. So I don't think I've ever gotten that move on accident. Like I always had to like game the numbers to get it when I wanted it. So I'm kind of like, you bitch.
She's found the glitch in the matrix,
right? But other than that, Corey played the Fire Emblem DLC some more. He did a battle which always takes over an hour and then lost. So he put it down pretty quickly after that. Still playing God of War. We just finished the Dark Elf area. I forget what it's called. It's at the Lake of Light. Not the Lake of Nine, the Lake of Light. It's that area that has like a purple sky and a big halo-looking temple in the middle. I'm not super into the game yet. I thought it's fun. I don't dislike it, but I find it kind of boring. Like there's not enough plot development.
Have you played any of the previous God of War games?
I have not.
I've
I've watched somebody play one of them before.
I wonder if that would help. If you had some more context around Kratos.
Maybe. I did watch like a 10-minute summary of the whole series leading up to that on YouTube, and but it was like not a very good summary. I didn't think it was like just very rapid fire, and I didn't really get anything out of it. So that could be part of it. This next one will shock you guys. We started another Mario game.
No.
New Super Mario Brothers U. I'm not a huge fan of the new Super Mario Brothers games, but Corey likes them, and it's co-op, and I've never played this one, so I was like, well, okay. But we're already like 5 worlds in, so we'll have that beaten pretty quickly. And then Persona 5, we finally gave that another go. If you'll remember, we got stuck on a boss that was kicking our asses. So Corey turned it down to easy, still lost like 4 or 5 times, and then finally managed to swing it. So he did get past that, finally.
Are you guys just not high enough level, you think? Are you running away from battles and skipping battles and stuff?
No. So apparently this boss fight was like pathetically easy in the original version, but they like souped them, they like overcorrected for the royal version. Like when I was Googling.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. When I was Googling like how to beat them, all I saw were people just like raging over this boss fight. Like, this is so stupid and stuff like that. But I'm just glad to be past it. Apparently there's nothing quite like it for the rest of the game. And then I have gotten some solid Grandia II time in. I just got past Pilgrim Road, which is after you go to the cathedral for the first time. So I think I'm like well into the game. And I do think I'm going to finish it in the next couple of weeks, I hope. Because it's a short game. So then I'll be able to be on the review with you and Bill, Rich.
Okay.
Yeah, I already kind of told Bill, you guys are going to wait on me.
Yep, that's fine. I'm okay. I've been done for a while. I just got to say, I love this catch up that we just did. Because Jay is like, I got one game. I mean, like, I own a massive game. And then Scott's like, here's like 37 games I'm playing right now.
Yeah. Well, there's somebody else I want to shout out. You guys know the long-running kind of meme we have going with Disa, how she has never finished FF6. Started it like 20 times, but me and Bill have been kind of harassing her for over a year now about it. She finished it yesterday or the day before, I think. So, yay, Disa. Yay. I feel like we're moving on to a new era. Anyway, so that's it for the catch-up. So let's move on. Tell us about the Patreon, Rich.
So the Patreon's got some sweet benefits there. We've got early episode access, ad-free, participate live in video versions when we have them, Anime Corner with Jay and his long, luscious hair, the Aftercast, and extra reviews, and many more.
Yeah, I think our Resident Evil 3 remake review is out now, and I think Super Mario Galaxy is coming out Monday, so look forward to that. And then Corey and I plan on recording Yoshi's Crafted World next, slowly getting through our backlog of games we've actually beaten this year. And then Bill tells me, go ahead.
I have nobody to talk to about with anime, so I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I might have to do like a monologue or some garbage.
Yeah, we haven't been mentioning that in the past weeks just because we're not sure when that's happening, but maybe one day.
Why don't we just keep saying it as kind of like a running joke? It's like the Anime Corner.
That's false advertising, Rich.
Nah, it happens all the time.
And then apparently Bill did a bonus review, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Cloudy Mountain. Apparently it's like a very, very old game. It's something that he committed to on the old Golden Years Patreon. So he did it.
I don't remember that.
It was for some kind of Patreon benefit that y'all had set up a long time ago. But I think that comes out the week after next, so look forward to that. And one of our other benefits is the Aftercast. What are we doing for the next Aftercast, Jay?
The upcoming Aftercast that we're going to be doing, I believe, is on the theories around the ending of the Final Fantasy VII remake. And I think, is the episode that you two recorded out there for the patrons now? Yeah, on the reviews and opinions.
The questions that we got we made that our own episode, but that went out to everybody. So
yeah, we felt like being nice to that one.
Yeah. Well, that would be weird to ask questions and then not actually answer them.
You have to pay us money to listen to the questions.
Right.
So we are going to record another episode like right after we're done recording this. It's going to be specifically around theories around the Final Fantasy VII remake, which we have kind of touched on. We kind of touched on it throughout the review episode, but this is probably going to be a little more in depth and a little more tinfoil hatty.
I bet you're excited about that one.
Well, it's been already like a month since I've played the game, so
already forgot all your theories.
Yeah, the excitement's gone, and now I'm just like depressed that there's nothing else, and that Square Enix is incredibly slow at doing anything.
Yep, we'll talk about that in a minute, I think. And then we got another announcement. What is it, Rich?
We have a new Patreon.
Yes.
David Wirtz.
Yay! Clap, 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 clap. Thank you so much for your patronage, David. We hope you enjoy your benefits. I don't know if David is somebody that we know. Because on Patreon, a lot of times they use their real names, and I'm used to everybody's screen names, so who knows?
So if you're in our Discord, please say hello to us.
Hello.
Say, I'm David.
Yes.
So, nice.
And then our review competition is ongoing. And for those that don't know what that is, leave us a 5-star review on Apple or whatever podcast platform you use. And we're going to go over them at the end. What date did we decide? Anybody remember? July calendar.
I'm assuming the answer is no, we don't remember.
Yeah. I was like, I'm drawing a blank.
July 9th, I think, is what we decided. So
there we go.
After that, we're going to read all the reviews and pick our favorite, and that person gets to haste a game on the list. So they'll pick what game gets played next by Bill and Rich, and potentially us too, depending. So yeah, please do that review. And something else we need to announce, JRPG July years. Do you know what that is, Rich? I don't know.
I've heard of this thing.
Been paying.
I was not paying attention too close to that in the Discord. Like once the Discord starts getting like 80 or 90 like notifications, and by the time I get a chance to look at it, I'm like, I'm not gonna know about this. So as far as I know, this is a game that somebody's gonna play in July, centered around to JRPGs. Am I right?
Yep. All right. So since I actually know what I'm talking about,
Yeah, yeah, Scott, you're so highly intelligent.
Yes.
There is a hashtag that some podcasts and other platforms jump in on in July. It's called JRPG July. And we figured the podcast jumping in on that would help promote us a little bit. So what we're going to do is us and all the listeners are going to pick one or two or however many games we think we can finish in the month of July. I'm going to stick with no more than 2, and I probably won't even get those done, but hopefully at least 1. And then we'll start those in July, try to finish it, and we're going to use the hashtag JRPG July years, so we'll be able to track what all our listeners are playing. And we've already got like a sign-up list going in the Discord somewhere. Bill's kind of handling all that.
So who's deciding what games we play?
I think you get to just pick whatever you want, as long as it's a JRPG.
I think somebody should pick a couple games for me. I'm not good at this. I can't make decisions.
There's
Can I
nothing you
pick
want to play?
0 games?
No.
Damn.
I will do at least 1 game. I'll aim for 2, but I'll let you pick them out, Scott. Something not garbage, please.
All right. Well, I'm signed up for Final Fantasy II, and I'm secretly hoping that we drag our feet enough to where I can also sign up for Final Fantasy V, since I have to play that anyway. But it doesn't count if you don't start it in July. So
darn! I was gonna load it up in June, like start the game, try to get as finished as much as possible, and then just boom.
Well, if we did it that way, I could like time it to where I finished 3 or 4 in July, but that's against the rules. So anyway, yeah, go into the Discord and let us know what you're playing. And remember, when July comes, to use that hashtag so we can track it. And we're all, especially, I'm looking forward to it. I thought it was a good idea anyway. So let us move on to the news.
Hear ye, gather round for all your news. Stop your clatter and listen close. Alas, you won't believe your ears. Listen close for the news.
Why don't you kick us off there, Rich?
Yes, so some awesome things here right off the bat. We got Final Fantasy XIV's Naoki Yoshida.
The guy in charge of FF14, basically.
Yes. So it dismisses Final Fantasy XVI rumors as fake news, but I feel like he's lying to us.
So do you know like what happened and what he's actually talking about here?
If I remember correctly, it was something that there's bits of art coming out. There's a lot of rumors that the new, what was it that with the new PlayStation 5 reveal that they were going to release some information about it. They've been ignoring it and shooting down rumors about this whole thing about 16 coming out. I think some other developers were going over to leaving the projects of 14 to go do other things. So
there was a rumor that Yoshida is in charge of FF16. So he went and basically, he didn't even deny it. He just kind of phrased it in a way to where he was like, don't worry, I'm not leaving 14. But it was just like a weird, like non-confirmation.
So he didn't actually dismiss it as fake news.
Yeah.
No.
The way he phrased it was really odd.
I mean, you could come out and say that, like,
I bet Square Enix had like somebody like, you need to write something up that makes it sound like a no, but it's
Right.
neither a no or a yes.
Well, usually when Square doesn't even comment on stuff like this, so I wonder what got their panties in a bunch over that.
They hired a new PR guy.
Maybe.
Yeah, that, or they just don't want people to get a little discouraged about 14, like starting to taper down if he leaves.
Yeah.
So that could be another reason why. But let's be honest, they're working on it. They have to be working on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll talk about that with another news story shortly.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be upset if Yoshida was over 16. I'm just glad it's not Nomura or Toriyama, to be honest. Need somebody else.
Come on. I'd love another Nomura.
I think he's a little busy. I hope so anyway. Although he is known for taking more on than he can handle. Anyway. So the big news story this week is Sony finally had their full PS5 reveal. They showed like a huge mess of games and revealed the what the console actually looks like and all that. Did you either of you watch this, or did you just sort of absorb the news afterward?
Well, I absorbed it.
I did not watch the full thing. No, it was. I think it was happening while I was working, and people were talking about it, and I was like, I'll get the snippets.
Yeah. Well, it was exciting. I wasn't like blown away necessarily from anything in particular, but there were a lot of cool looking games. In particular, I thought Project Athia was worth paying attention to. It's a new Square Enix title, and there's some rumors floating around, and I even had this thought while I was watching the trailer: is this Final Fantasy XVI? Because to me, the aesthetic and the world reminded me a lot of. Do you guys remember that Agnes Philosophy tech demo that they did a long time ago?
I think so.
It was like a woman in red with black hair that was in like a desert setting, and it was more like just a tech demo for their new engine. But a lot of people speculated that maybe that will end up being FF16, or it's a game that they're working on in full. Since then, I'm not really sure if it really is FF16. It seems like that would be a really weird way to announce 16, but it wouldn't be the weirdest thing Square has done either.
I don't think it's. I mean, I thought it was 16, but this could be them just going, "Hey, look, we're doing something."
Yeah,
I think it's going to be. I think it's a new IP. I don't think it's. I don't think it's 16. It just doesn't have the Final Fantasy feel, and I think that Square Enix is at least really consistent with how their Final Fantasy games feel.
That's true
across the board.
Yeah,
and kind of the art style, and this is just. I think it's too different.
Yeah, if I had to land on one side of the debate, I would agree with you guys that I don't think it's 16. I did it first, then I've come around.
I didn't see one guy with spiky hair. It cannot be a Final Fantasy game
without 1,000 buckles. He's having 1,000 buckles.
Well, if I just not over it.
That's true. I just need another Final Fantasy before I turn 35, preferably before I turn 40. Okay, I just can't wait.
Me too.
For these stupid games to come out.
What else?
Yeah. So another really cool, exciting reveal was Horizon Forbidden West.
Did you guys watch the trailer for this?
Yes, I watched the trailer for this, and I'm pretty excited. Actually, it made me want to go back and play Horizon Zero Dawn. I guess generally speaking, I am a little concerned that it's just not going to be as good as Horizon Zero Dawn. I feel like they're not going to be able to really top the previous game, no matter what the storyline is. But yeah, it looks good. It looked like it's going to be what you would expect from a Horizon game.
Yeah, I think it looks awesome myself. I'm hyped about the underwater sections, and some of the new mechs looked cool. It looks beautiful.
Elephant one looked pretty dope.
Yeah, that's how they ended the trailer. It will be hard to top the original because the original was so amazing. And we've known that this was in development for a while, but this is our first footage of it. To me, I would like, if they can just improve the narrative, that would be one way to top the original. Because although the story wasn't bad in the original, I think it could have been a lot better. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm hyped for it. That'll be a day one purchase for me.
All right, so with the big PlayStation 5 reveal, we have to talk about the design. So the design reveal was released. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about this design.
Some people love it. Some people hate it.
Yes. It's either a Wi-Fi router with some pieces of paper around it, or it's was a Dragon Ball Z character with the dome in the middle with the spike in the head. Yeah, so Cell, yeah. It's a design of him, or I don't know. It's a weird design. I kind of dig it. I like it, but some people may not. I'm excited for the controllers. We were talking about this with a group of friends last night. The rumble system in your controller is pretty basic compared to what it used to be in the rumble packs for the N64's controllers. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Where it's just it's a weight that just spins just like it is in our controllers now. So I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do with this new haptic feel.
I imagine it's something like the smart rumble or whatever that's called in the Joy-Con.
Yep.
Maybe even better. Who knows? What did you think
I
of
don't
the
know.
design, Jay?
So I think I'm okay with it. It's going to get dirty really fast. They need to make sure that they have non-white versions. Because come on, we're eating Doritos while we're playing video games,
fondling our PS4 5.
Yeah, the controllers are going to end up with the most disgusting tint. Like, gamers are not clean people.
No, they're not. Oh my
whenever
God.
we're binging, we are not worrying about washing our hands in between eating. So that white and then the grease from your hands, unless they have like some sort of magic film, it's going to end up an orange controller, like a dark yellow controller, and that's disgusting. So I'm hoping like all black series is going to be available.
I can already see Rich on his beanbag chair, naked, eating Cheetos.
You know what? That's what happens. Okay,
Exactly.
You don't know. Actually, it's not Doritos.
Cheeto covered.
I really dig the design. I agree with you that it's going to be hard to keep clean. I would like to see some other like colors because I think an all black version would be cool. But
I wonder if there's going to be a price difference between the disc and digital edition.
Yeah, so that was another thing that there was. There's two different versions: a digital only and a physical. I would think that the physical would be more expensive, but hopefully,
unless the digital has both of them have to install the games, and with how large these games are getting, like these are going to have massive hard drives, and then massive SSD hard drives are not cheap. So, and this is something I want to touch on in the next episode, but.
So which one are you guys going to go with? I assume we're all getting this eventually.
Well, yeah. It's going to be a day one. I'm going to pre-order this sucker when it comes out, or the pre-order happens. But I'm going to do the physical, like disc ones. I can't do digital unless I have to. I need physical copies.
Same.
I think it depends on how large the hard drives end up being. I think I'm cool with it. I think I can go digital only if the hard drives are big enough. But I don't want to have to be deleting or like removing games every week because I want to download something else. That's annoying.
I already have that problem as is. So, and the only real major thing they haven't revealed yet is the price, which I think they're just in like some kind of silent Cold War with Microsoft over who announces the price first.
They should freaking do it. Just get it over with, and then decide if you want to price drop it later. You can always do that. Jesus.
I've heard rumors of it accidentally being released through Amazon, and it's like north of $600.
Oh God!
Oh, good God!
I was hoping 600 would be the ceiling. Like I wouldn't be more than that. We'll see. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy it day one, but I will eventually.
This thing needs to be full blown backwards compatible if it's that costly.
Yeah, if it's backwards compatible, which they've said it was going to be, right?
I think they confirmed it was PS4.
Yeah, so if it's backwards compatible with PS4, I think I could see myself. And I guess it also depends on what games are released same day.
Yeah,
like if a dope game is released same day, I'll buy it. And then just my PS4 is like on its deathbed. I swear to God. So
yeah. Mine always sounds like a military grade helicopter about to like fly through the roof.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I wonder how PS4 game and okay, I have a lot I want to talk about for next week. So continue.
All right. And then some other titles announced. Those are the main RPGs that jumped out at me. Was there anything in particular on this list of games announced that you guys wanted to talk about?
I heard some people.
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Now part of 3 generations.
I watched a meme that was like Grand Theft Auto between like 2001 and like 2010, and they had like 4 or 5 different games created and released, and then it said Grand Theft Auto after 2010. It was just all Grand Theft Auto 5 being re-released.
Yeah,
I got a better meme for you. It's a cow that's been milked so dry it's so super skinny. It's Grand Theft Auto 5 is the cow. And it tells me that they've released a game. That game was 2013, and you got Rockstar Games as the cow, the farmer just walking up, going, "We're gonna get some more out of you."
They're trying to take the record
like, just let me die
from Skyrim and Resident Evil 4.
Oh God!
I haven't played Grand Theft Auto 5, so I mean, maybe I'll play it on the PS5. So maybe it ends up being an intelligent move. But.
I've seen a lot of it. I used to have a roommate that played it religiously, and I would just watch him play sometimes. But I'm excited about Spider-Man.
So Ratchet and Clank.
I've never played one of those. Have you?
I have. I played 2 of them, I think. Yeah.
It's a series I want to go back and try at some point.
That and Jack and Daxter were like 2 of the really interesting games back in the PS2 world.
Yeah, and this one looks pretty sweet. So,
and then
go ahead.
I mean, then you've got Resident Evil Village.
Yes. It's hard for me to get super excited about that because I haven't played 7 yet. But
how dare you?
Chris looks like very haggard.
He's old.
He gets a redesign every game. I'm really excited about Spider-Man because I loved the first one. I thought Kena, Bridge of Spirits, looked cool. Goodbye Volcano High gave me weird vibes. It was like furry Life is Strange. I'm trying to look down the list here. I thought Deathloop looked really cool. And then, of course, they announced the Demon Souls remake. But that type of game is just not for me. But I know a lot of people are super excited about that. But anyway, next week we are going to talk in more detail about the future of gaming and RPGs. So we'll get more of our thoughts on all this next week. All right. So what came out, Rich?
So only one game came out for Thursday would be, actually no, the 16th coming up. Last Tuesday, sorry. Would be The Waylanders, which is a PC game entering early access. I have no idea what that is. I'm trying to find something on it, but yep.
Me either. And then what's coming up, Jay?
So I don't know any of these games really coming up. So apologies. So Friday, 6/19, we have YS. Is there a different way to pronounce that, or is it just YS? Yeast. Memories of Salsetta. So that's coming on PS4 Europe only. Already came out in the US on the 9th, so that's a little strange. Then on 6/23, we have Little Town Hero Big Idea Edition for the PS4 and Switch. US only. Europe release is 6/26.
The original version of that game was supposed to be shit, so I don't know why they already did improved edition.
It's a big idea edition, okay? They had a big idea on how to make it not shit.
All right.
So 6/23 also has the Tower of Time coming out, which sounds interesting. That's coming on the PS4. It's coming out on the Switch on 6/25 and Xbox One on 6/26. And then on 6/25, we have Brigadine, The Legend of Runercia coming out on the Switch. And then Tainted Grail coming out on the PC, which is also entering early access. So most of these games are getting pretty difficult to pronounce. So that's interesting.
You don't get extra points about them for hard to pronounce names, guys.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy us talking about games we don't know what they are or how to pronounce them.
Always. Okay, so with all that out of the way, before we get to the main discussion, we're going to take a quick breako.
Have you ever tried eating a corned beef sandwich in zero gravity?
Are you a veteran of the Great Emu War of 1932?
Do you long for a simpler time when the world's greatest global crisis involved horse manure?
If the answer to any of these questions was no, then we have the podcast for you.
Epic Fails of History.
A podcast that delves into the most epic fails of, history.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
We've had a problem here.
Epic Fails of History.
Subscribe today on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. We've got more random tales of fail coming your way, so stay tuned for more epic fails of history.
And we're back. So, let's get on to the main discussion. Our greatest RPG shames and confessions. That was the Chrono Trigger trial theme. As we're in
I like this.
All right. So, for those that don't know, that was our first time trying these musical transitions live.
I like it. I like being able to be like, hey, what's that from? I like this song.
It came to me in a flash of inspiration this morning. I was like, shit, what kind of RPG music is related to like confessions? And I was like,
I thought we were going to do Usher's
the
song.
trial scene in Chrono Trigger. I did think about Usher's "These Are My Confessions" or however that goes. But
yes, I thought that would have been good.
It's not really related to RPGs, though.
Yeah, but that's the point.
So anyway, this topic came about because we were in the Discord talking, and I can't remember why this came up, but I had to admit to somebody that I had never even like attempted to beat Ruby and Emerald Weapon in Final Fantasy VII.
You could have just lied.
I should have. Despite that being my third favorite game of all time, I've probably completed it, 10 times or so. I just have never been asked to actually do that. It's like I look at what you need to do, and I'm like, nah, which is weird for me because I'm usually a completionist. But yeah, so
you probably should have just lied because now I have to expose how much of a poser I am. So.
Oh yes, looking forward to yours. But then we were like, okay, so I'm sure we all have some RPG shames and confessions that we could talk about. And based on how much listener feedback we got, everybody had skeletons in their closet.
I love it.
So along the same lines, I have never beaten the super bosses in FF10. I have in the original version, which I think only had Omega Weapon. But the international version that we have now, the HD, has the Dark Aeons and Penance. And although I did intend to try to beat those, when I was playing, it's like just the amount of grinding you have to do to stat max and get what you need to be able to do that without cheesing with Yojimbo is just like astronomical. Like there's a trophy for filling in every node on the sphere grid with every character. It's like, no thank you. So there's two of mine. Why don't you give us a couple, Jay?
Okay, so some of these are probably shames that many of other people have, but considering how big of a fan I am of these game series, I feel especially sad about it. I have never even gotten close to completing any Pokédex in any Pokemon games.
Ooh.
And that is including whenever I probably spent 3 years of my life playing Crystal version. So never even got close. I would always get really like, I would beat the Elite Four and then I would spiral into like this ADHD, create my own story kind of thing to where I just did not care about completing the Pokédex. So I've never done that.
I think I did in the original, like Red or Blue, except for Mew, if you count that.
Yeah, but yeah, I've never even gotten what I would consider to be close to it. Megan and Gracie, them working together, Shield was obviously their first Pokemon game, and they are almost done with that Pokédex. They've gotten farther than I ever have in any Pokemon game, and I've been playing it since I was like 4 or 5.
Maybe you should be ashamed about that one.
Yeah, I am ashamed. Another one, which is pretty interesting, is I have never understood the battle system in Final Fantasy XIII. I even got halfway through that game without ever understanding how to actually do it. I would just, BS my way through it. I remember some of the boss battles. I don't even remember what they're called, like the kind of like the summons of each person.
Yeah, Dolans.
I remember those battles being ridiculously hard, and I'm wanting to say it was either what's the kind of reddish blonde haired girl?
Vanille.
Oh,
I think hers is the one that does that happen after you land on
your impulse by the time you get to that one.
That is the one that made me stop playing the game. And the one before that, I think it might be Snows that you get.
He's the
Chivas.
He's the first one you get.
Oh, is he the first one? Who's the one that you get before you work on Vanille's?
Hopes Alexander.
Okay, yeah. That was like almost impossible for me.
That one was pretty hard.
I spent forever trying to like finagle positions to just be like, what do I need to do? I don't know what's going on.
Even if you understand the battle system, those Eidolon battles can be tricky. And if you scan them or lever them or whatever you want to call it, it tells you exactly what you need to do, and it's still really hard. Okay.
How about you, Rich?
Okay, so I have the biggest shame in my entire life, and this may get me kicked off the show.
I'm shining in my boots over here.
Yep. I have never actually finished FF7. The very end of it.
What?
The very end of it.
You're really?
Yeah, I'm serious. I get to Sephiroth, I get my ass handed to me, and I did it so long, and I just fucking give up.
Have you never gotten the Knights of the Round or anything?
Nope. So that goes into the other part of this shame. I have never gotten any of the special summons in FF7.
Oh, okay. I think all that first one deserves this. Damn, how can you call yourself an RPG host and not have finished FF7?
Hey, I finished other FF games.
Well, wait,
so
didn't you finish your Materia Lockdown last year?
No, I didn't. I did not. That's again, I failed that one.
Wow.
I thought of this as you guys brought this stuff of RPG shames. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to admit the biggest shame and lie of my life.
He's not that hard.
I don't know what it is. I just couldn't do it. So
for the record, I've only done it once, and that was, maybe when I was 13.
Yep.
So I mean, it's been 12 years since I've made my way all the way through it, even though I've played it like 10 times since then.
Yeah, I've done the same thing. I've played it, and I get all the way up to like, I don't know. FF7 was a really good game. The story loses me towards the end of it, and I just stopped playing it eventually. And then I have beaten.
We're going to be issuing you a citation, and you will be formally reviewed before the board of RPG After Years directors.
So there's that. I have never. I mean, I'm looking at your list there, Scott. I have not beaten any super bosses in any Final Fantasy games.
None.
Nothing. I know. I've not done any of that stuff.
Well, along the same lines, this was one of my resolutions. I've talked about it on the show before. I have, despite Final Fantasy being my favorite series, there are still a few games in the main series that I have not played. Almost done with 1. Still need to play 2, 3, and 5. And I think that's it, if you don't count the MMOs. Well, and FF4 After Years. But luckily, I'm almost done with 1, and the show is forcing me to play 2 and 5 soon, I believe. So
there you go.
We're getting there. And then another shame of mine, I've never played Persona 4, despite somebody actually giving it to me for my birthday one year. So I've had it for years, and I never played it, despite it apparently being one of the best RPGs of all time.
Oh, speaking of Persona 4, did you guys know it came out on the PC like this week?
Persona 4 Golden. Yeah, that actually probably should have been a news story.
It just happened, I guess.
I forgot to.
Anyways.
But if they can put it on PC, why would they not put it on PS4 or Switch? I would actually probably play it if they did that.
That's probably coming. They're probably gauging how many people would buy it on Steam.
I don't understand Atlas. Yep. And this next confession sort of goes with what Jay was saying earlier about Pokemon. I don't think I actually like Pokemon anymore. Like, I like
the son of a bitch.
I like the idea of Pokemon, but every time Corey sits down and plays Shield, I'm just like, this is the dullest thing I've ever seen. Like,
well, you're not playing Pokemon.
I guess.
Why don't you play it?
I did buy Sword and Shield so we could both play it, but I suck, I guess.
Yes, you do.
I just wish that they had a more gripping story. Like, it seems so plain. And I know it's always been that way, but
Well,
need that.
I don't think it's always been that way. I feel like X and Y, and then White and Black, and then White and Black 2, Race Wars, is like the best storylines.
Yeah, I know it
And
gets more intense in a couple of them.
Yeah, I don't know why they decided not to have like some kind, like it's adults playing these games for the most part. Like have a compelling story. It's Pokemon, where you can come out with like a YouTube animated series that's like freaking sweet, but the execution of the games is just so boring.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to give it another honest shot. It's just like my eyes start to glaze over when I think about actually playing Pokemon. You got some more for us, Jay?
I do. So I've mentioned this before, but I've never actually beaten The Witcher 3.
Despite you being our Geralt of the show.
Exactly. I have gotten all the way to the end where it's like the final standoff and everything, and nope. Don't I so the closest that I got, I was like, I'm just gonna go finish a lot, some side quests before this, like thou shalt not return kind of passing of the threshold, and just never did it. Never.
Well, this is a problem in general for you, right? Like you get to the end of games and then put it down.
Kingdom Hearts 3. So I've never actually I have never actually beaten Final Fantasy VIII. I had to have somebody else beat it using my profile while I watched.
Who was that? Like a relative?
It was a kid that was younger than me that I was friends with. He was like 3 years younger than me, and he was able to do it.
Jeez. Well, at that point, he must have been like in his single digits, right?
So he was probably 9. Yeah. Yeah. He was probably 9 when this happened. Ouch.
I think we need this.
Shame. Shame.
Come on.
Shame.
But
guys.
At least you saw the ending, though.
Yeah, that's why I count it. That's why I'm like, okay, I've beaten it. Screw it.
All right.
It was my profile. I put the work in. I just could not execute on that final boss battle. And that was before I understood like the whole screwed up system that they do to make enemies stronger.
Right. We won't revisit that. We've lambasted that to hell and back on this show. Do you got any more, Rich?
I do. I've never finished a Pokemon game.
How many have you started?
All of them.
Whoa. You've never beat the Elite Four on any of them?
Nothing.
Oh.
It's just
like, it doesn't even take that long. You can do it in like 10 hours on like all of them.
It's not hard.
I know. Like I just have a problem finishing the games apparently, just like Jay. So there's that. I don't know. I just never could do it. I see a game on yours. I actually hate Mass Effect.
Oh, really?
I hate Mass Effect.
Fair enough.
I can't stand that series. I hate that game. Tried it. It was so stupid. So I hate that game. What else is there that I have a shame on?
I feel like this is more of a never have I ever than it is like a
that could be a bonus episode.
Yeah. I think the biggest one I had was the Final Fantasy VII one.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll finish up my list here then. The only way I was able to finish FF12 was with a Game Shark. I found, or at the time I found that game so boring that I just could not be asked to get from plot point A to plot point B without cheating. Like it just took so long. I have the Zodiac Age and I plan to replay that eventually, but I am a little ashamed to admit that one.
I have one more shame.
Okay, well, we'll circle back to you once I finish here. And then my final point here, there are several series and games I've never played, despite being the host of an RPG podcast. Never seen 1 second of a Tales game, besides, I guess, clips randomly. Never played them.
Shame.
Yeah.
You're not dropping the clip for yourself, Scott. I feel...
Shame. Shame.
Never played any of the Mana series, or Xeno, or Fable, or Ys. Never played Legend of Dragoon, not a single Dragon Quest. I want to play Skies of Arcadia, I haven't. Never played Suikoden, or a Saga, or Mass Effect, or Witcher, and I would like to play Vagrant Story. So those are all pretty big names in the RPG kingdom here, and I'm a virgin to them.
That's awesome.
It's because you're too busy diddling away with Mario and Yoshi.
Yeah, I can't play only RPGs all the time.
Yeah, I know.
That's all I can play.
Yeah.
Anything else is just like I feel like I'm wasting my time. There's no storytelling here. I'm not invested. Read me a book.
Right.
That's kind of how I feel.
Well, you got any more, Jay?
Yeah, so I think this one counts. And I will say too. So you mentioned, you did mention your Game Shark one with 12, right? I don't know if you mentioned it or if I just read it. Okay. So the first 2 times I ever played through Final Fantasy X and X-2 was only because I had the Game Shark.
Oof.
Yeah. Let's see. And I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I have beaten it without a Game Shark. I've gotten to Sin, and then I just stop. Like right before you fight Jet, and then Seymour. What is it? Seymour, Jet, and then the crappy Yevon. Who you can't lose.
I will say, if you don't grind or do any side quests, that final boss in that game is like really tough.
And that Seymour one is such it's so annoying. You have to like use specific magic on like specific parts of him and stuff. I don't know. It's not fun. Let's see. I do have another one. What was it? I probably should write this stuff down like Scott. I'm so unprepared.
I never.
I'll think of it and Rich, talk. I'll think of it.
Okay. So this one is a Final Fantasy VIII, and I love Final Fantasy VIII. But all right, you remember when you had to get the passcode from a student's body in that tomb?
Which game?
Remember that Final Fantasy VIII?
Yes.
Okay. You know how that tomb is only like not very far away from the city?
Yeah.
My younger day, I apparently couldn't find that stupid place, so I spent like a good hour trying to find the tomb. Could never find it. So what I did was I went back to that person, and I literally tried every possible combination that I could.
Isn't it like 4 digits?
Yes, it's 3 digits, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's either 3 digits.
I wonder what the math is on that. What are all the possible combinations that 3 separate digits can have? Is it alphanumeric or is it just?
It was all numeric.
So you
numeric, not alphanumeric, just numeric.
Yeah.
So it was. I guessed every single possibility. It took me almost 2 to 3 hours. Consider the fact that I could have walked a little bit out to the east, to a little strip, and there's the tomb right there.
Do you remember what the actual number was? Like how far you had to go?
It's
roughly?
like 712.
Oh man! Did you start at 0 and go?
I did.
Oh.
I did.
Well, I can understand getting lost in that part of the game because that section of the world map is like pretty wide open. But that's
Rich,
next level.
26 to the 3rd power is 17,576.
And
that's a lot of combinations to try.
I tried everything, and I think I got lucky. That's how it happened. Like it took me 2 to 3 hours to do that.
Wow. Well, at least you got it.
Maybe longer than that.
There are over 17,000 different things you could have tried.
I think
always do the math
Jay's
first.
Speechless.
I was like 10. What math was I going to do on that? So like, well, I'm just going to go for this. So I did that. That's a shame. Where I could have literally took 10 minutes to walk over to an area, and there it was. It's not like you had to go look for the damn thing.
I don't think you should be ashamed of that. That's impressive.
I'm just ashamed. Well, it's my laziness. It was my laziness to go find.
This was what life was like before Google.
Yeah.
I was
damn kids. Damn kids and your Google and your Snapchat.
And your Instagrams.
Did you remember?
So my final and possibly biggest shame that's going to come from Scott and Corey. Tales of Bursaria is the only game I have not spoiled myself beforehand.
I'm proud of you. That's I'm not gonna do the shame jingle on that one because you're growing as a person.
So historically, I am so impatient, and I get really invested into stories. So the idea that I have to wait to like do all this gameplay before I figure out what happens next, like kind of annoys me with most games that I actually like. So I just look it up. I go and like, okay, what am I expecting here? What's going to happen? And then
was it worth it?
Usually, so sometimes yes, sometimes no. So I say sometimes no because sometimes I find out something I don't like, and it makes me not want to ever play the game. Like I find out X, Y, and Z character dies, and it's just like, well, I love this character. They're the only reason I'm playing it. I'm not going to play this.
Womp womp.
Basically, if you don't play it, they don't die.
Yeah. I don't have
sense.
And it's like
they can't die if I don't play it. It's like that meme with the guy.
This is the character I like in the story, and they die. So I'm just not interested in the story anymore. If I'm not interested in the story, I'm not going to play it.
Well, to each their own, I guess. Anybody have any others?
Nope.
All right. Well, let's move on to the feedback. We got quite a bit here. So first off, in the Discord, from Kaboski, he said, I'm ashamed that I've never played Chrono Trigger. And Bill also admitted to that. So we're going to be issuing a citation to Bill as well. But
I have played Chrono Trigger. I've just never beat it.
Yeah. I've beaten it.
I get like maybe a quarter of the way through, and then I'm like...
I beat it while I was in college on the Wii because I was like, okay, this is supposed to be possibly the best RPG of all time. I should give it a go. But yeah, you guys should play it. It's a decent game.
Yeah.
What's the next one, Jay?
So the next one is where did you start at? I'm sorry.
Section 10, listener feedback. I just started at the top.
Oh, my bad. I was all up on Twitter.
No worries.
Okay, so Geek to Geek Beige. If a final boss is too hard and I don't feel like grinding for hours to beat it, I just watch the ending on YouTube and move on. Respect, man. That's exactly what I do. Yes. No shame there. Money is time. Time is money.
That makes sense. And then RPGs and Death Metal said, add the same shame of never playing a Tales game. Well, Jay likes them, so.
Yeah.
They're anime video games. What's not to like?
Right.
So Soda X Bread, he's got a couple there. I've never beaten Final Fantasy VII. Woohoo!
Soda by bread.
I've never played Xenogears, and I'm really bad at RPGs in general. Well, so am I.
I think
I'm bad at video games in general. I'm an easy mode, write it out kind of guy.
I think somebody said, oh wait, I think Soda X Bread runs a RPG podcast as well. So maybe it's just funny that he has an RPG podcast and it's bad at them.
Yeah, that's part of that's his deal.
Rob Al-Lennon, who I believe has been on the show as a guest a couple of times in the past.
Yep.
He's 40 hours into, he says, I'm 40 hours into FF13. Got to the open area and just lost interest. It's the last non-MMO mainline FF game for me to beat, and I know I'm over 75% done, just can't get over the hump. To be fair, the pulse section is the slowest part of the game, in my opinion. Everybody always says, oh, it opens up when you, later in the game when you get to pulse, and I was like, yeah, and the story grinds to a halt.
Yeah, it's not really that open.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So, ROB Art and Corey say, I am ashamed to have never played a Dragon Quest game until last year when I played Dragon Quest XI. That's 34 years of my life missing out on a great series. And though I guess ages 1 through 7, I was too young to get a hold of my own games. Ha ha. So, first off, I'm not hugely impressed by Dragon Quest games. I've started like 3 different ones. So, I don't know.
I've heard
11
not that
is
great.
great.
Supposed to be really good, but Bill started it and said he doesn't like it, so who knows?
I started. Which one's 11?
It's the newest one.
Okay, I haven't played 11, but I've played 9 and 8.
So I've heard 8 is supposed to be good. So
I'm not impressed. It's really childish, and I don't know.
Oh, well,
they're not that great.
I'll have
deal
to
with it.
see for myself. I've just seen people blowing 11, so I was surprised that Bill didn't like it. But he has bad taste. So, Kato. Oh wait, that's yours. What did Kato Kane say, Rich?
Kato Kane says, I have never finished a Dragon Quest game. Ditto. I lost to the first boss dragon in Final Fantasy IV and never picked it up again.
Ooh.
And I cheated to beat FF13 because it was too long.
How do you cheat?
I don't know.
What's
how
the way
do
you're
that.
cheating?
He said he used something called Cheat Engine to hack the game, and I was like, I have no idea what that is.
Cheater.
Yeah, because that was after.
Final Fantasy IV is a good one though. But I tell you what, the first time I ever played through it, I emulated it and did like I don't know, like 4 or 5 times speed or something insane, and burned through the story in no time. Like it was ridiculous how fast I beat that game. I was like, oh, this is beating it at super fast speeds is very unfulfilling, and I feel like this was not fun.
Which version did you say you played?
It was the Game Boy Advance one.
That's a decent
emulated.
One. Yeah. That first dragon is a little tricky because it has that mechanic where it turns into mist and then counters if you attack it while it's mist, but still it is the first boss. So you should fix that, Kato. And then finally in Discord, Disa said, I can't believe you guys decided to have this episode the same week I got rid of my biggest shame, which was never having finished FF6. So good job, Disa. You don't have anything to be ashamed of anymore. All right, so on to what our feedback on Twitter. Generic Fighter, he says, I don't know if it's a shameful thing, but I broke the timer in Final Fantasy Tactics once. In Chapter 3, 99 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. Maxed out completely. To be fair, Tactics is kind of a longer game, and it's really easy to spend lots of time grinding in that game if you choose to. And that's a low timer, so I don't think that's that bad. He also said in Final Fantasy Tactics on PSP, I have a save file that has level 18 to 20 units with ninja, samurai, and calculators unlocked before doing the forest battle, which I think is like the third or so main story battle. So he spent forever grinding at the beginning of the game. Reminds me of that guy who had Cloud and Barrett to level 99 before leaving the Mako reactor.
Oh my god.
I've never beaten Tactics. I think I've gotten really close, and then it just got so difficult, and I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I think that's what happened to me with Fire Emblem, something Stone, something rather. It just gets so difficult, and then Fire Emblem, like people die and they don't come back, and I was like, screw this.
Luckily, the newer ones have baby mode where that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
He also says, I died to Shadow Yosuke twice, only once in Merciless. I didn't know who Shadow Yosuke was, so I looked it up. Apparently, it's the first Shadow boss in Persona 4. So I don't know how early that is in the game, but sounds
it's
pretty
probably
shameful.
like 10 hours in.
Okay.
20 hours in, you fight the first boss.
That sounds about right for Persona.
So Cascade Studios says, I just cannot get into or see the enjoyment in Xenoblade. I've completed it, but find it deeply dull. Hailed as a pillar of the genre on its third port, I should be able to see some value in it, right? Instead, I just want to turn it off and play Last Story. So I can understand where you're coming from for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Like, it took me a second to really get into it. And I think, so what happened with me was that I had to completely shut my brain off and pretend it was kind of like a TV show in order to like it. Because otherwise, the battle mechanics aren't that entertaining. And it's generally really easy. So, I don't know.
It's interesting that he calls out Last Story specifically here, because I think those two games were part of the same Operation Rainfall to get some things actually translated or localized to America. So I'm guessing he probably played both of those around the same time. Anyway, Troidal Power, who I think has had promos on this show before, another network friend, he says, related to the earlier convo, I never finished FFX. I got up to the fight against Seymour in the mountains, and I couldn't bear to grind up enough to beat him. According to IGN's walkthrough, I was like 85% through. Yeah, that's about right.
Mount Gagazet second Seymour battle?
Yep. I think it's the third one, actually. But
is it? So
the first one's when he's still in his human form, and then you fight him in Baville, and then the Gagazet one.
I forgot how far through Mount Gagazet is. Like, I'm remembering it in my brain and just not feeling like it's towards the end.
Yeah, it's
but I guess it
the
is.
last place before Xanarkand. So,
so
Troy,
heck it.
I was just going to say, Troy, just grind up your Aeon overdrives and just use all of them on them. That's all you need to do.
So Hecat's Tech says, I've tried to start Witcher 3 on 2 systems and haven't gotten out of the first town in either. So the first time I started The Witcher 3, I actually had this problem too. So I started several new games and just couldn't do it. And it was because I was not dedicating enough time in actual like sessions, gaming sessions, to actually get hooked onto it. That changed whenever I had a week of just me. It was me in the apartment alone. I didn't have to work or anything. All I did was play The Witcher, and that was the only way I was able to really get into it. You have to make sure you have a good chunk of time to start out on it, like have 5 hours of time to pour into it right away, or you're not going to get into it. In my
just
opinion.
put your life on hold.
Yep.
So Abrac says, never played Chrono Cross despite thinking Chrono Trigger is one of the best games ever made. Chrono Cross is shit. So I agree with that.
Whoa.
So I've bought every Xeno game, Xenogear, Xenosaga episodes 1 through 3, Xenoblade 1, X, and 2, but never finished any of them.
Sounds like it's just one of those series that you want to like but don't.
Yeah. I only beat FF8 with a Game Shark.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. The Chrono Cross one, I don't know why, but like that game doesn't play well. So that's why I think it's shit. So have you guys ever played that game?
No, I want to. I own it, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's just so loosely connected to Trigger, from what I've heard, is like kind of kills my interest in it. But,
yeah.
Okay, so next is No Cat Podcast. This is the No One Can Know About This show. Highly recommended if you like Final Fantasy. They're playing through every Final Fantasy.
Is it pronounced No Cat or Knock It?
No Cat. They just commented saying ashamed ? And I think what they mean by that is they are ashamed of what they are doing in general, the whole concept of the show. Although I did see Bill reply to them and be like, well, if you didn't play the worst versions of the games. So right now they're playing through the original NES Final Fantasy II. It's like, well, no wonder you hate it.
Oh, yeah.
Those games are just broken in general, but they're masochists. So, what's the next one?
So Diario Di Friki says, I'm ashamed I couldn't beat the first Colosseum on Kingdom Hearts, and it took me several months to do it. So that is pretty difficult.
Yeah.
I remember Cloud giving me some like kind of a hassle at first.
Mm-hmm. And Cerberus is hard
whenever
too.
I was like 10 years old. So
I think the first time I played through it, I had to just like move on to the next world and then come back when I was a little higher level. So that's understandable. I wouldn't be too ashamed.
And then Wandering Flame says 1,000 jump ropes in FF9.
I'm kind of ashamed to say that I have done that. Only once, but that's super hard. I wouldn't be ashamed of that.
I didn't even attempt that. I saw that. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for submitting your feedback. We were very pleased to get so much of it this time. We all have skeletons in our closet, apparently. So next up is Tea Time with Bill, which I almost forgot, but he actually did give me one. I was like scrambling to get it ready over here during all that. But let's go ahead and launch into that.
And now, it's time we join an old friend once again. It's Tea Time with Bill.
Hi, welcome to Tea Time with Bill. So, I know Jay wants me to keep these short and sweet, so I will do my best. Yeah, Tea Time with Bill, where am I? Where am I at? So, let's see. In the golden years, with Grandia II, I have now finished Grandia II. I had a good old couple of ploughing sessions, and I managed to get all the way to the end and defeat the final boss monster. So, expect very soon a review for Grandia 2, because Rich finished a long time ago. So, Rich, I'm really sorry, mate, that I've had to keep you on tenterhooks for so long. just took me a while, this game. You know, I had to restart it halfway through, so that was a fuck. And I believe Scott as well. Hopefully you should be finished with it soon, and you can join us on the review. Me, you, and Rich can have a nice freeway together. I do love a good freeway.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So what else have I been playing? You know, I've been dabbling here and there in some other games. I've been playing some Trials in the Sky, FC, whatever that is, the first one, which is pretty good. I've also downloaded Tales of Vesperia, but I'm going to save that for JRPG July, which I assume Scott's going to tell you more about, to keep it short. But for JRPG July, I'm going to be playing Tales of Vesperia, and I'm going to be playing Lunar Silver Star Story Complete, the PS1. So, yep, I'll be tweeting out about those games as I play through them along. Now, you may also be able to hear some music in the background. I am currently playing Shock Horror Final Fantasy X. Scott was talking about it recently, and so I decided to dive back in, to be honest with you. I can't remember where I got up to. Somewhere pretty shitty and quiet. Oh, this game's so boring. Why am I even bothering to play it? There you go, you can hear the menu music. Oh, there's my save data. Is this in any sort of order? I don't know. 14th of March. Oh, last time I played it was on my birthday, 2018. 2 years ago. Fuck me. 17th of March. The date's backwards. Oh man, absolute bullshit. Anyway, 14th for the 4th. I think there's anything yet. That was about right. So I think I got through like the calm. Was it the calm lands? I can't remember. You do the first Blitzball match. You go through a really shitty wilderness period. You fight some big monster thing, and then you round about there, and then I think there's some sort of big sin fight coming up. Oh god, I just Titus. Why am I playing this game? Oh no, I went the wrong way. Oh bollocks. Anyway, so
I think he died.
RPG shames. So my first shame, of course, is Final Fantasy X, which I've never physically beaten myself, and I think I might have discussed this before on the show. So, oh my god, have I never beaten Final Fantasy X? I had it on my counter list. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, Final Fantasy X. So what happened was, I remember I got all the way to the very, very end of Final Fantasy X, and this is back in the day when I used to play with. I used to play a lot of games with two of my friends who lived down my street. So I had Matt and Lou, and we used to love the Final Fantasy games especially. So we'd go out, a lot of us would have the same games, we'd play them all, we'd go sit around each other's houses, we'd play them together, we'd play each other's games. Just one of my favourite memories of playing games with other people was with those two. And yeah, we were all playing Final Fantasy X. I remember being at home and I'd finally got up to Sin, the final boss, and I just couldn't beat him. I was really struggling. And then I went round to my... after I died a couple of times, I went to my friend Matt's house, and he was happy to fight the same boss fight, and he beats him. Then he beat the next couple of boss fights afterwards, and I watched the ending of the game. And so I kind of never really bothered to go back to it. I'm completely honest. I couldn't see the point. You know, who cares? I've watched it. I've basically seen someone kill the same boss that I was trying to kill 10 minutes ago. But as an adult, that ticks my brain a little bit. And I don't want that to be the case. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to play Final Fantasy X slowly but surely. It's just maybe a little side thing. Because I'm kind of between games at the moment. I've got a couple of days until the Fiesta starts, because our next game, of course, in the golden years is Final Fantasy V. Thank you, Disa. I do love that. But I'm waiting for the Fiesta because I played Final Fantasy V a few times before. But, you know, Jay, Scott, Rich, you've never played it. You guys need to jump in whenever you want. Don't worry about the Fiesta. Jump in, play the game. It is, I love Final Fantasy V. It's got one of the best job systems going. What's another RPG shame? Oh, Chrono Trigger. Oh my god, yes, I have never successfully played and completed Chrono Trigger. I don't think I've got any sort of ending. I don't think I've got anywhere past halfway through the game. It's just one of those games where I really enjoy it, and then I put it down and I don't pick it back up again. And it'll be years later and I think I'm going to play through Chrono Trigger. I think I get to like the same point every time, somewhere after that little speeder chase, I think it is. Maybe a little bit further on than that. And it's just like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to play any more of this. I don't know why. It just sort of like suddenly there's a point in the game where it just loses my attention, and I don't want to play it anymore. I just put it down. So again, Disa has put in Chrono Trigger. Well, she's replaced her version of Live Alive. No, she's replaced Live Alive. Anyway, it's confusing. Live Alive's moved up the list, and Chrono Trigger has taken its place on the list. I think it's like 26 or something. So I will finally get to play through Chrono Trigger sometime soon. What was another RPG shame? Earthbound. I've played all of 20 minutes of Earthbound, and I wasn't really feeling it at the time, so I've never gone through and played it. Everyone tells me how good it is, and everyone tells me how great the gameplay is and everything, and it just, don't know, it just hasn't really gripped me yet. I don't know, maybe it's because it's a Japanese game that is actually a take on American subculture, and me not being American, maybe I just don't feel it so much. I mean, from all intents and purposes, from what I've read, like it seems like the Japanese were really taking the piss out of the Americans with Earthbound. And then, yeah, I don't know, just sort of went under the radar and it came out, and then later on in life just became a cult classic. So, yeah, I mean, if you guys have played Earthbound, let me know. Is it taking the piss out of you, or do you think it's funny? Because I think they were taking the piss out of you. So, you know, you might have missed a joke there. But yes, that's it from me. So again, I've got Tales of Vesperia coming up for JRPG July. Hopefully as well, I'll get to play that with the boys. Oh no, review it with the boys, because I know Jay's playing it as well. And I think Rich has got it on the Switch. And then also Lunar, the Silver Star Story Complete, because I've just always wanted to play that game, so I'm throwing it in there. And we've got Final Fantasy V as well. And then finally, once Final Fantasy V is over, we'll get Sword of Vermilion out of the way, which is supposed to be the first game of season... of the current season of the Golden Years. Like, we're in season 3, and the first game is supposed to be Sword of Vermilion. But we are currently 5 games, 6. So Final Fantasy VI will be the 6th game we've played, and the Sword of Vermilion just keeps getting bumped down. There will be no more bumps on Sword of Vermilion. All right, it's final. I'm putting my foot down. So Final Fantasy V, Sword of Vermilion, and then Live Alive, then Metal Max returns. I'm very excited for all those games. Anyway, I've gone way too long. I'm like nearly 8 minutes here. Jay's going to murder me. Alrighty, guys. I'll speak to you all soon. Love you all.
Yeah, I'm watching Jay sharpen his knife over here right now.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
My knife is always sharpened and ready for battle, Scott. Okay.
True. Interesting to hear him playing Final Fantasy X during his tea time there. He's been like sort of taking the piss out of me, and I've adopted some of his British slang. That's scary. In the Discord.
I don't even know what that means.
What did you just say?
Like trolling, basically.
Okay.
Taking the piss out of you. But he like has been trashing the sphere grid, and I'm like, dude, that is the best leveling system in Final Fantasy. I don't know what your deal is. As far as Earthbound goes, I realize it's American satire, and that's why it's great. Anyway, so you guys got any other comments about that? Bill's tea time?
No.
Okay.
I fell asleep, so.
Right. All right, so I guess that's it for our shames, so we'll move on to our outros and stuff. That's from when you lose a chocobo race in FF7.
I don't think I've ever done the chocobo races.
You're not missing out. All right, so what's next week, Jay?
So next week, we are kind of going to discuss that Sony debut a little bit more in detail and just have some general conversations around the future of gaming, kind of the future of gaming systems, how that relates to price, how that's going to relate to the market, and just kind of how we're feeling about the direction of where everything's going. I feel like a lot of the reveals of the Unreal Engine and the new PlayStation kind of has me thinking about the future a bit more. So I want to see what you guys are thinking as well.
I think that'll be an interesting topic to talk about.
So on to the plugs, guys. We have some pretty awesome things here in our plug section. The first one would be our Discord channel, where the conversation is growing and keeps on going.
Yeah,
what else can we do there?
It's been really lively lately for some reason.
I know. I can't keep up.
So we are having a review competition right now. So rate and review us on iTunes to help us, get up in the scale, get a little bit more visibility. So that review competition is going until July 9th. What's the prize for the review competition?
You get to haste a game. You get to control
haste a game.
Bill and Rich play next. Usually that's a Patreon benefit, but you can get this one for free, theoretically.
Yep. So it does the best one, the review that we pick out ends up getting to haste a game for Richard and Billiam.
Yep.
Suckers.
Haha. And one more Patreon plug here. Lots of great benefits, early episode access, ad-free episodes. You get to participate live in the video version when Zoom and YouTube decide to cooperate, which is like a 1 out of 3 chance they won't, it seems. There's the aftercast, which are basically just bonus episodes. You get extra reviews. We got a healthy amount out there now, and more. So take a look at that at patreon.com/RPG After Years.
The RPG After Years podcast, members of the podcast, I should say, we do plan on participating in the JRPG July. What is it actually, JRPG, or is it RPG July?
I think it's just JRPG July.
JRPG July. And so basically we're going to pick out some games, try to make what's the word I'm looking for?
It's just like a community event.
Yeah, I'm a pledge. We are pledging to play X amount of games, our JRPGs, in July. Don't expect nothing too crazy. We're normal dudes.
We do suck at completing games in timely fashions. So
look forward to that. Hopefully we can get out of our comfort zone a little bit. Maybe Scott, play some games you haven't played before.
Yeah, no Marios.
Oh.
All right. So they can reach us, the show, on Twitter. We have our Twitter page of @RPGYears. You can find me at HailBlue1569.
Me at the Scott Spot.
You can find me at JayHizzle.
Yes, and you can find Bill, if you want to talk to him, at Matunica with 2 N's.
But I imagine with that 15-minute long tea time, you don't want to hear from him anymore.
I think they're good.
Yep.
All right. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I feel like that was good to get off of our chests. I feel like a weight has been lifted. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. Until next week, I'm Scott.
I might be back next week unless they kick me off. I'm Rich.
And I'm Jay, and I'm also voting to kick Rich off.
Me too. So we'll see y'all next time for episode 21 of the RPG After Years. Later.
Bye.
I gotta go pee really bad, yeah.
Yeah, I get some water.
Me too.
This has been a presentation
of the We Can Make This Work
Probably Network.
Follow us on Twitter
@ProbablyWork
for more of our questionable content.
Also, we have a website called probablywork.com.